Well, the Sawdust Art Festival is going to be going on for the remainder of the month. It closes on August 30th, and they are open from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. And join us right now on the set is an artist that's over there, and that is Olivia Batchelder, and you are a clothing and textile artist. Thanks for joining us on the program.
You're welcome.
So you really work with a lot of silks, and then kind of do your art based on, I would imagine, whatever you're kind of feeling that day, right?
Well, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Tell us about some of the techniques that you're using to, to utilize some of the clothing and some of these items right here. How do you come about with this kind of design?
Well, I do two things. One is clothing art. We call that art to wear. And that is what you're looking at here. This piece is a big rectangle that is a sarong. Sarong is the word for pareo or wrap. We like to call this one a Laguna Beach wrap.
Nice.
So it can go many, many ways. This is the book I've written to show you how to do it.
Oh, great.
It's called Laguna Beach wrap, and it has 18 ways to do it. It's a common form in many countries, a rectangle instead of a tailored garment. So I make a lot of those because silk is so beautiful when it's painted. I don't want to cut into it. But I do make some cut things like this one.
Right. Oh, so that's something that you made. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is a tailored garment, and this is a rectangle garment. And I do both of those. And I also do paintings. That's a different form and a different place in my mind when I do those. And this piece right here.
Do you only work with silk?
I only work with silk. I like it because it's the queen of fabrics. It takes color beautifully. It moves like nothing else moves, and it's luxurious.
And what kind of medium are you using to make the patterns and the coloring of it?
I work with dye, and it's called dye color amongst us silk artists. We like to use that term because it elevates the silk art into the form of painting. And that's one of my key things that I'm trying to do, is to get recognition for textile art as a fine art form.
Well, this is pretty. So do you have people that maybe would make a recommendation? Maybe they like a certain color or a certain design that you kind of work out, or do you kind of just have a certain pattern that you work with mostly?
They're all paintings, and I start the process with this 2-yard rectangle of cloth, 45 inches by 72 inches. That's the painting, and during the summertime, I'm creating all of that art from my own imagery and my own inspiration and my own sources. When it's not summer, I take special orders. That's when you get to pick your color. And those things are more expensive. When you pick your color, I charge more.
Oh, sure. You want it to customize your material, your look, then obviously you would do that. So when you work with this rectangle, do you put it on a canvas, or is it more of a hand process when you start to work with dyes?
I create a canvas, and you see one over there on the white piece. That's a small one. It's upside down there.
This one right here?
Yes.
Okay.
Flip it over. Flip it. That's the back side.
Okay.
This is the face. So this is a silk canvas.
Okay.
And what that means is I've taken the silk and stretched it here with masking tape in order to create a surface that I can control the ink movement on. I work with it horizontally. The big pieces are set across 2 sawhorses. I work with brushes and dyes, just like watercolor painting. And this piece starts with a resisted drawing, like batik. So I drew pomegranate flowers. These are in my yard. This is a little pomegranate flower. They're smaller. They're actually this size, but I increased the size for this motif. And so this line keeps the dye from flowing past it. So when you work with untreated silk as a canvas, the dye flows a lot. So you need to either work with that flow, as in this piece, or restrain that flow, as in this form, with the resist.
And do you start with the base first, the base colors, and then you start to work within these areas?
That's a good question. No, the base color comes last.
Really?
The pomegranate flowers might be first. The most staining color would be the one that I would use first, and pomegranate flowers are bright red. The reason is maybe you're on your way with the brush to paint something and you drop a drop in the background. Some people would call that a mistake. I call that an opportunity to rethink what the background is going to be.
Yeah, and that's what art is about, right?
Yes. So everything starts white. People often ask, do we start with the base color like turquoise and then paint over it? You can't do that with silk. It's like watercolor. You're going backwards.
Right. Very interesting. Now, this is something else that you brought, and tell us a little bit about this.
Okay, this is a painting intended for the wall. It takes longer to do these than it does the fabrics for clothing, and I work on them in layers. So this one is called Wave. I do a lot of work with the ocean and with the hills around Laguna, and I bring back the impressions from my walks in nature or my times at the tide pools, and I put them on canvas in a different arrangement to each other than they were when I saw them. So these orange parts here represent the starfish, the bright orange starfish in our tide pools in Laguna Beach. Some of the purple represents the sea snail. There's a big glob about this big, it's purple. There's many, many little creatures in the tide pools that have color, and I haven't tried to put their form here, I've tried to put their color. And
what about the metallics here, the grays?
Metallic was last, and that represents the foam on the sea.
Yeah, it's beautiful. How long would it take you to make a piece like this?
30 years and a week and a half.
30 years? That's not too bad.
30 years and a week and a half.
And a week and a half.
So you see, the 30 years are important.
Absolutely.
But the time spent on the painting is less. It is worked in layers with drying time in between, so it may take many days to get one together, and sometimes it doesn't come together that fast, and you have to stop.
Exactly. Sometimes it is better to walk away and just rethink it a little bit and then come back and rework it again.
So you're an artist too.
Sometimes. Very nice. Well, I know you're going to be a part of a great Sawdust fashion show that's going to be on Sunday, August 23rd. That's going to be from 4 to 5 o'clock. That's at the entertainment deck. So the admission is going to be free with your Sawdust admission ticket. And again, that's the Sawdust fashion show, Sunday, August 23rd from 4 to 5 p.m. What booth are you at?
226.
226. So when we first walk in, are you going to be off to the right, off to the left, somewhere up the aisle?
Off to the right, very close to the information booth.
Great. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the program today, and these are some beautiful items, and we do encourage a lot of people to come by and visit your booth, and especially the Sawdust Fashion Show obviously will be some of your clothing items that I imagine you'll have some models showing.
Here is our last fashion show, and this was my outfit.
Oh, beautiful.
Our newspaper last week.
Yeah.
So these are all sarongs, like this piece. So this is a sarong, this is sarong, this is sarong.
Right.
It's all wrap clothing.
Very nice. Well, we encourage a lot of residents to go over there and say hello to Olivia, and she will, of course, be showing a lot of her pieces, similar to this one that we showed in this publication, and that's going to be on Sunday, August 23rd from 4 to 5 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining this program. We've got about a month left over there, so
that's about it.
Looking forward to having some of the residents stop by and say hello to you. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much.
We're going to be back to wrap up our program, right after these commercial break. Thanks.